Hey everybody, Paul Preston here from Called Into Question Trivia Events with another OBS Studio tutorial for you today. I don't know about you, but during my stream, people will often ask for the title or the artist of a song that's playing in my Spotify playlist, and if I stop to answer them, it kind of breaks the flow of the whole stream. So today we're going to learn how to make a Spotify widget that'll have a scrolling title and artist, and we're also going to have album art during that, and we're going to house it all in a cool retro TV like this. Now, even if you don't want that graphic, it's not a problem. I'm going to teach you how to do it with any graphic you want. However, I will provide all the project files for you as usual and links to all and any plugins that you might need or anything else. All right? So if you're ready, let's go make it. Okay, y'all, before we get started with the project, you're going to need some files to deal with. So first of all, you can head over to my website at calledintoquestion.com, click on the free stuff link, and then find this project here, Make a Retro TV Now Playing widget on the page, and then click the Download Project Files button in the bottom there. You can also just follow this link in the description if you're on YouTube, okay? Next thing you're going to need is a little program called Snip over on GitHub. Snip allows you to talk your Spotify to talk to your OBS, which is very important for this project, actually. So download whatever the latest version is for you at the time of this recording. It's 7.0.5, and then extract that somewhere. I like documents. I've got it in my documents. Once you do that, you're going to see a screen like this. When you open up that folder, you're going to double click on this Snip icon here, and it's going to ask you to link your Spotify account to Snip. Once you do that, you're all set. The two files we're going to be using in this project are the Snip text file right here and the Snip album artwork file right here. All right, so now that you got everything you need to get started, let's go do it. Okay, everybody, here we are in OBS with a relatively clean scene. Let's go ahead and start adding our assets that we just dealt with, right? So the first thing we're going to do is add the image of the TV. So I'm going to hit the plus symbol down in Sources, click on Image, and I'm going to call this Retro TV. Fittingly enough, then go browse for it. Okay, once I have it in there, I'll just resize it a little bit, but I'll leave it in the middle of the screen and quite large so you can see it. And you can see what I'm doing. I will, however, move it down the stack behind my overlay so the legs disappear there. All right, nice. Okay, let's go get the Snip stuff. That's the most important, as it's the engine that's driving this whole project here. All right, so I'm going to add an image first. That's going to be the album art image. I'm going to call it album art. Again, that's just adding a source down in the sources column, right? Adding an image, browse for that. The Snip stuff is in my documents folder. Go to wherever your Snip stuff is and add Snip artwork. Okay, and there you go. I have a tune playing, so the artwork showed up right there. You can't hear it because I don't want to get a copyright strike for it. Okay, next one. We're going to go ahead and grab the text, the all-important text. So again, you're going to add a source. Go to text here, add that. I'm going to call this Snip text, Snip TXT. Hit OK, and what you need to do is click this Read from File button right there, and that allows you to browse for text files right there instead of typing something in. Then go back to your Snip folder and double-click on the Snip text document and hit OK. And now I have a massive version of what I'm going to end up with, but that's fine. No big deal. We can just resize all that. It's not a big deal, right? I don't know why it shows up so massive on the screen, but it does. And speaking of massive, you know, when you are playing Spotify, and if you just leave it here, often the names of new tunes, especially that might have 3 or 4 collaborators on them, will make this thing resize itself like crazy on screen. So what I like to do is add a scroll filter to it. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to show you how to add a scroll filter to this if you don't know already, and how to resize it to exactly what you need. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that now before we do anything else. So I will go to where it is in my stack here, which is the snip.txt. I'm going to right click on it and then go to filters and hit the plus symbol and add a scroll filter there. I'm just going to leave it named scroll because that's the only one I have here. And then I'm just going to increase the horizontal speed until I feel like it's going by fast enough to where I can read it and I don't get bored trying to read it, but slow enough to where it's not distracting for everybody on screen. All right, once I get it where I'm happy with, I'll do that. Close it up. And then put it somewhere. I'm going to put this behind the TV, don't worry. And then I'm going to take this image here and let's resize this. Actually, let's put them both behind the TV in the stack right now. So I'll grab Snip and album art, and I will drag them behind the retro TV graphic. Now they're in place, okay? As I was saying, let's get back to album art here. resize it. And you might notice the album art is square and the TV is not. That's okay, because most of the stuff in the 60s and 70s and 80s when we had, you know, those awful screens looked pretty bad anyway. Pretty stretched out. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down the Shift key and resize it this way to stretch it out in this direction. And that's just fine for my uses. Now you might see that the letters are pretty unreadable right there. So let's go back to the snip text and double click on that, open it up. And if you scroll down, you can see there's a background color, and the background color is black, but there's none of it being shown. That's because the opacity is off, right? So you go ahead and take this slider and just slide it. For me, I'm going to put it all the way up, but you know, you could leave it so it's a little bit transparent. So you could maybe, let's put it at 90 and see what that looks like. See if it's readable. All right, and that way we can see a little bit of the album art behind it. Yeah, that's very readable, so I might leave it there. And there you have it. This is your retro TV now playing Spotify widget. And if I hit the advanced button, I should get a different album art and a different song here. There you go. And it just changes automatically along with the song. And it changes when you hit the advance or rewind buttons on Spotify as well. Now, obviously, you're not going to leave something this massive on your screen. And even if you were to size it down, it would still be pretty big during your entire stream because you're doing other stuff. You don't want to do that. So you're going to want to animate it to come on and off. Okay. So we're going to go over to the Stream Deck and I'm going to show you how to animate this on and off like I did at the beginning. It's going to be super simple. Join me over there. Let's go. Okay, everybody, how are you doing? Are you hydrated? Are you caffeinated? Have you had enough food? Have you gone to the bathroom? Did you get up and stretch? Good. Let's animate this thing then. It's really not going to be that hard. We're only animating the TV graphic, by the way, and we're going to do that using a filter in OBS, and then we're going to head over to the Stream Deck, and I'm going to show you how to trigger that filter, okay? All right, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and set ourselves up with that filter. A little weird here. If you haven't seen my move sources or you don't know about the move sources filter in OBS, it works a little weird, right? You're going to go to the scene that the graphic is in. You're not going to do it to the actual graphic under sources, right? Which is retro TV over here. I'm going to go to website, which is the scene that that TV is in. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to filters here. Then I'm going to hit plus to add a filter. And I'm going to add a move source filter. I'm going to call this TV in, because this is the position on screen that I want the TV to be when it's on screen. I'm going to go to this little source menu down here, and I'm going to select Retro TV, which is my graphic. All right. Then I'm going to go down and click Get Transform, which will lock in its coordinates on screen where it is. All right. We're done with TV in. Now we're going to add another move source filter. So I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to add a move source filter. I'm going to call this one TV out. And then before I do anything here, I want to make sure the menu is set I'm sorry, let me get back on screen here. I'm going to make sure the menu is set correctly to Retro TV. But then I need to move this thing a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take my graphic and I'm going to move it to where I want its out position to be, which will pretty much be straight down from where it was on screen. All right. Now that I have it in the out position, I can go down and I can hit Get Transform. And I should be able to bring it on and off now just by pushing this little eyeball button over here. When I do in, hey, it pops into where it should be. And when I do out, it pops out, right? And I can change the duration of that animation, not a problem. But there you go. The TV's happening. Now we need to make all the other stuff happen, all right? So let's go over to Stream Deck, and I'll show you how to trigger this and how to mess with the timings and put in delays and all that stuff, right? Come on, meet me over there after you get a drink of water. Okay, everybody, here we are inside the Stream Deck software. And first thing we're going to do is grab a multi-action switch and drag that to any button. Second thing you're going to do is download a plugin for me from BarRaider called Obs Tools. It's real simple. Link in the description down there. Go ahead and load that in as a plugin to your Stream Deck, and then meet me back here when you're done. Okay, welcome back. Fantastic. Congratulations on installing that. Now I'm going to go down to that set of tools, Obs Tools here, and I'm going to drag a filter toggle switch into page 1 of the multi-action, and then click on page 2 and do the same thing. So 2 filter toggle switches, okay? Then I'm going to go back up and I'm going to drag in a couple sources. Let's go back to page 1. On page 1, I want the filter toggle switch to be first and then my sources to be second. So there we go, 2 sources there. On the second page, I want the reverse. I want my sources to be first and I want my filter toggle to be last in the stack. All right. And that is because With a multi-action switch, there is a delay. Everything works in steps. It doesn't all work at the same time, unfortunately, in Stream Deck. And with the new release, they said they were going to cut that time by 50%. I'm using the new release right now, and I got to say, I'm not seeing it. I apologize if you did, Elgato, but maybe it's just me hallucinating, but I'm not seeing it. I'm still seeing a delay and all that stuff. So, all right, let's set all this stuff up. First page, go ahead and click on the filter toggle at the top there. Make sure this is set to enable. Go to source name, and in this case, it's going to be the scene, right? Remember, we were dealing with the scene and doing the filters inside the scene, not the source, right? So the source name is actually the scene name in this case. So we do website for me, whatever your scene is called for you. And then filter name, we're going to do TV in. Okay, we're done with that one. Go to page 2. Go and click on filter toggle. Make sure this is set to enable. Go down and find your scene name here. And then go and find TV out. All right, and we're done with that. Go back to page 1. Let's set our sources. First one is going to be our album art. So we are going to make sure this is set to activate. OBS tutorial is where I have that, so that's fine for me, whatever collection you have it in. It is going to be website is the scene that it's in, and then I want album art from that. Okay, second source, click on the next source down. This is going to be our text, all right? Make sure this is set to activate. Make sure you're in the right collection. Make sure you're in the right scene. And then go grab snip text. And we're done with that. Go to page 2. Okay, first source right there. On the way out, I want the text to go off first. And so that is what is set here. And I'm going to set this to deactivate. And this scene is going to be website, and it's going to be snip text. All right, second source is going to be the album art. Set this to deactivate. And then go and get album art. All right, now you'll see what I mean. When I press this button now, my button on my Stream Deck that we just set up, you can see that it's sort of doing what we want, right? On the way out it is. The stuff is going out first, and then the TV's going out, right? Stuff is going out first, and then the TV's going out. But on the way up, you can see album art before it's outside the TV frame, and then the TV kind of catches up to it, right? All right, so let's fix that. Let us fix that. All right, so what you're going to do to fix that, let me bring this back in, is we're just going to put a delay in, right? And so we're going to go on page 1. That's where our problem is, right? Let me press that button again and show you what our problem is. Right there, you have album artwork before you have the TV finishing, right? So what I'm going to do is put a delay. I'm going to go over here in Stream Deck and go grab a delay under the Stream Deck menu and throw that in between my filter toggle and my sources. And then I'm going to set that to about 350 milliseconds, somewhere around there. We'll just see. All this stuff is experimental, right? It all depends. All right, then I'll hit the button again and see if we have the right catch-up. Hey, look at that. There you go. TV comes on, then the picture comes on the way out. TV goes off, then the picture goes off, then the TV goes off. That's exactly what we want. All right, now you can mess around with these delays. You can do all kinds of stuff by stacking things in different ways inside the Stream Deck. But let me just remind you how we stacked it here, right? So in the page 1 of the multi-action switch, I have the filter toggle on top. Then I have a delay of 350 milliseconds, and then I have my 2 sources. Page 2, I have my 2 sources. I'm not using a delay right now because it seemed just fine to me. And then I have my filter toggle on the bottom. All right, and that's how you animate stuff. Now you can change the duration of how this graphic comes in if you want to by going back to your filters inside website, inside your scene there. And if you go to TV in, you can go to custom duration and change this to whatever you want. So you wanted to come in much slower, take a whole second. You'd put 1,000 milliseconds in there. And now we should see a real difference when it comes in. Right, it screwed up our delay though. We're gonna have to do our delay a little bit differently now on the other side back in the Stream Deck. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. You just play around with these things, get the settings right, and there you go. Now, obviously, you're not going to want something this big on your screen all the time. I also have a little widget that just displays the text and can just come on by my picture and just has a little scrolling bit down there that floats up. That's usually what I use. But if I'm on a break or something like that during my stream, I'll bring something big out like this and just because it's fun for people to look at pictures. They like it. Anyway. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial today, everybody. I certainly enjoyed doing it for you, and we'll see you next time with another OBS tutorial. I'm Paul Preston for Called Into Question Trivia Events. We'll see you.